1946 Chrysler Windsor. I know it's a 46 because of the way the paint code is. They changed paint codes in 47, but that's getting into the weeds a little bit already. It's a project car, maybe it's a parts car, and it's a hot rod, rat rod, whatever. There's too much of it left to like just throw away or cut up completely, maybe. I don't know. I mean, it's ultimately the next owner's decision, but it's not that bad. But it's not like it would be an easy job, but you know, I've seen a whole lot worse get fixed. So when I first got this almost 30 years ago now, I got it running, drive around the yard, no brakes ever, but it would drive. You know, it's got the fluid drive, which is a weird system. I'll explain it in brief. You've got basically 2 speeds on the column, and you've got a high and low range in the transmission, or vice versa, however you want to describe it. But so you've essentially got a total of 4 speeds, forward, 1 reverse. And if you once you get speed, you let off the gas, the transmission is a solenoid on it, will kick it into high range. You step on it, it'll pull it down into low range. It has a torque converter and a clutch. So you need the clutch to shift from first to second, but you don't need the clutch to start or stop. Kind of interesting that way. The Windsors were the cheap Chrysler, but it's got a front sway bar, it's got independent front suspension, it's got dual heaters, it's got a radio. You know, that's the cheap Chrysler. You know, this one had the Highlander interior and all the extra bumper guards, which not all of them had. And let me show you the hood here. I have an extra hood because it's got some damage right in there, but I've got an extra one in the van. I'll show you that a little bit. It's all here. I had the radiator out last week because I was trying to get the motor to turn all the way over. Like I say, I used to be able to drive it, you know, turn the key on, hit the button, started like that, ran like a watch. But you know, sat for 20 some years, and a long ways away. Long story short, anyway, I finally brought it home, put the jumper on it, jumped the starter, motor turned about a half a turn, and then it stopped. So there must be rust in a cylinder or something like that, just enough where it won't turn all the way over anymore. And to get a socket on the crank pulley nut and to turn on it, it's basically a 2-person job because of all the shielding underneath there. And you can't see it when you look down there anyway, so that's why I took the radiator out. And it basically turns into a 2-person job, one to hold the nut on and one laying underneath and pulling on whatever ratchet or breaker bar you're using. It doesn't work. So, but like I say, it's pretty much all there. So you get your dual heaters. I think that's cool for a car this age. Dual heaters, one set of controls, but dual heaters. Inside hood release, which again I think is pretty cool for a car this vintage. Interior is admittedly pretty chewed up now. It was not near this bad when I took it out. I took it out to North Dakota to get a title for it before I realized how easy it was to make a title in Minnesota. But there's the Highlander interior. There's a better piece of material over in the other corner. I'll show you that. It really shows you the colors. So like I say, you know, there's rot in places on the floor, but the floor is like super flat. So making patches would be fairly easy, really. There's the hood release. That would have been the starter button, which would have been originally up there. Key, I don't know what happened to the key anymore. So yeah, they say, you know, you kind of see all the chrome, the cool stuff. There's a radio over there, and full gauges, amps, and heat, and oil, and fuel. Oddly enough, that is the only mirror this car had. You could get optional outside mirrors, but that's the only one. because the optional mirrors would go right here, this trim would go away and there would be a mirror there. So to me, I find that that is bizarre. I apologize for the wind. It's a cold, windy day and I had to get this done. So, but here, I'll climb up in here a little bit. So here, you can see what that interior fabric would have looked like when it was brand new. That's the underside of this stuff. I mean, it's a really bright, vibrant color, really. And you got center armrest in the back too, kind of tucked in. Here's one of the rocker panel moldings right there. The other one's missing. So it's just one rocker panel molding and the hubcaps. I believe that is all that is actually missing as far as parts. You know, there's obviously parts that are worn and broken and beat up, but as far as just not there, those I believe are the only two, or the only things that aren't. Another cool feature I think with these, all the Chryslers this era had a third brake light. You know, the lenses aren't broken. This one's getting a little hazed, a little chip in it. So a couple extra parts, extra door handle. Somewhere in there, there's one piece of trim on the outside that's missing. This is the window crank handles, little knobs. I mean, those are super fancy, really, and they kind of flop down, so they're always hanging down, kind of looking neat. Very Art Deco, like the rest of the car. Again, you know, yeah, there's a hole there. Good luck finding something that's 80 some years old that doesn't have a hole in the spare tire well. But like I say, otherwise, you know, it's all here. You got a lock for the trunk. You got a lock on both doors, which was a little unusual at the time too. Most cars, there we go, had just a lock on the passenger side, so that way you wouldn't be risking yourself unlocking on the street side. You know, roof, of course, no paint left, but it's not beat up. No one's, kids have been dancing on top of it. So there we go, and I'll show you the underside here in a little bit. So here's the hood, the extra hood I have for it. It's stuffed in the van right now. Hood ornament's not there, and then the side emblems where it says Windsor are gone, but it's a nice straight hood. Not a stitch of paint left on it anywhere, but it's nice and straight, which is why I got it. And there you go. So I've got the back corner jacked up so I can show you underneath as best I can without actually getting it on a hoist. So both leaf springs are broken in the same place, just like that. That happened sitting for the last 20 years, just stationary. I don't get that, but whatever. So I've got a block in there both sides to help hold it up, otherwise it's pretty much touching the ground in the back. So anyway, I'll just put the camera underneath here, kind of show you what it is. It's not super bad. I'm not saying it's great, but you know, it's not super bad. I really don't know what I'm showing you right now, so because I can't see the camera. One thing I think is kind of interesting is, you know, this guy, there he is, this guy, this panhard bar, which is weird to me. I mean, it's got leaf springs. You shouldn't have any sideways drift in your rear axle anyway, but whatever. I'm not the engineer from 100 years ago. So one last little bit on this car. So I have a title. I never put it in my name. It's still in the other guy's name. If you're gonna put it back on the road, there you go. If not, well, then you can do with it whatever you want. Like I say, I've got the extra hood. Rolls around just fine. I took all the brakes out of it years ago, just so it would roll easier, knowing full well the brakes didn't work anyway. And like I say, you want more information on this car, or you want to buy it, because I've got it on eBay right now. I'm trying to put it on Craigslist, but there's something in the description that keeps getting it kicked out. I've got a super long description. Anyway, on my channel's homepage in the About section is my email address. I don't want to put it on in the description of any of my videos because scammers can find it there easy and stuff like that. That's why I don't do that. But it is a Yahoo email address, so you can find it in there. I think that's about it. Like I said, if you're interested, get a hold of me, and we'll go from there. All right. Thanks for watching.